Well, the Rev Pro train continues to gather steam as we head ever closer to both the British J-Cup and the Revolution Rumble. We've just come off the air live in Southampton. Dave Bradshaw here with Revolution Pro Wrestling booker and owner Andy Quildan. Andy, another spectacular show here in Southampton today. We've got a lot to talk about, but I want to talk first, if we may, about our main event. It was a tag team match featuring on opposite sides the two men who are going to compete for the undisputed British heavyweight title at the Revolution Rumble. Michael Oku, TK Cooper. What were your thoughts on the match, and also about the escalating rhetoric that we've seen between these two this week?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the lovely introduction, because I overheard some of your commentary tonight, and I heard Gideon Gray call me a lot more.
I gave you a rough time today.
Did you? I wasn't even close to it, or in eyesight, but within earshot.
Yeah.
So I'm listening. But yeah, it is an exciting time, isn't it? Because as we say, when we get to these shows, it feels like that super fight season, and everyone just seems to be amped up, wanting to prove points. And you are, I feel like, articulated it very well when talking about the escalation in this rivalry between Michael Oku and TK Cooper, which I feel, if you were to look at the landscape of Revolution Pro Wrestling even 2 months ago, you wouldn't be predicting that this would be the destination of our undisputed British Heavyweight Championship match. And I think that TK Cooper can almost certainly be commended for that fact that he has put himself in the equation. But I feel like a lot of this animosity, a lot of this hatred, and that's a strong word, but I think you can probably tell us more about that in a second, because you sat down with them earlier today. And I think a lot of that is down to the fact that because we're sat here being surprised at TK and saying we should be congratulating TK is thinking, well, if you'd just given me these opportunities earlier, then I'd be in these positions already. I would be sat where Michael Oku is. And I think that that's something that can be debated long and hard. And I think ultimately all that matters is about the here and now. And where we are right now is TK Cooper as the #1 contender to the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, it's certainly true that Cooper has a chip on his shoulder, no doubt. And as you say, I had the chance to sit down with both Michael Oku and TK Cooper in this room a little earlier on. The footage of that's going to be released on our YouTube channel in the coming days. And my goodness, it was explosive. So make sure you don't miss it. I want to talk about the other part of that main event, though, because it was a tag team match, and on Michael Oku's team was Nino Bryant, on TK Cooper's team was Chris Ridgway. Those two guys got a chance to interact. We got maybe a preview of what we might see at the British J-Cup, where they are 2 of the 5 names announced. Of course, that means that at the time of filming here, we've still got 3 of the 8 names. We don't know who they are. We haven't got the first round bracket either. You're the only man in the know. Can you give us any clues?
No, Dave, I can't, I'm afraid.
Send for a scoop. I wanted an exclusive.
But listen, you're moments away from finding out who the next names in the tournament are. By the time this one goes out, that we may have even put out the next name in the British J-Cup. And as we're getting closer, the days getting closer, the anticipation's building. That's when we're already to all the brackets and all the good stuff, and people can start theorising who could be the finalists, etc. I think like British J-Cup is always a great time to showcase our junior heavyweight division, and in many times breathe some life back into the junior heavyweight division as well. I feel like, especially with the added stakes of that Cruiserweight Championship on the line, just 7 days, 8 days after the British J-Cup, I think that's added an extra bit of spice to that tournament as well. But it's something we hold in very high regard, with some of the best wrestlers in the world competing. Of course, we don't need to go through all the names now, but obviously flying over from the other side of the... Oh, is it the other side of the world? Flying across a pond.
It's a long way.
Yeah, a long way. So we got Ace Austin coming over, and of course Adam Priest as well. And for my money, they're 2 of the most exciting free agents in the world right now, added to British wrestling's best, including, like you say, Nino Bryant, Chris Ridgway. Could it be a preview? Could it even be a preview of the first round? Who knows?
The
finals. And of course the finals fought under elimination rules as well. So it's certainly a good feeling out process for both of them. We saw them in the ring against each other in singles competition a few weeks ago as well. Great results there as well. But you certainly look at it and you say Chris Ridgway is the in-form wrestler in that division right now.
All right, so I couldn't get an exclusive out of you on the British J-Cup. Let me try it on another subject, which is the undisputed British Women's Championship. Again, the competition in the women's division here as intense as ever. We saw a great match tonight between Sapphire Reid and Anita Vaughan. Sapphire Reid coming out on the losing end, which might be interesting in terms of her ongoing issues with the rest of the Cutthroat Collective. But that's not what I want to ask you. I want to ask you, Mercedes Mone, she's the champion. I'm sure she's watching intently whenever we're seeing these great matches go on. Can you give us anything on when we might next see Mercedes Mone back here in Rev Pro defending her title?
We did see Mercedes Mone add another piece of championship gold to her collection this past weekend. It's not too far away. Didn't pop into 1865 today, though. But yeah, I feel like probably the answer to that question is a lot sooner than you may think.
I'll take that. That's kind of a scoop. Yeah. It's an exclusive that the news is coming.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, it may be summer sizzling.
This is award-winning journalism on my part. I feel like
a hint. It's a big hint there.
Sorry, I heard it. And I'm sure everyone else heard it as well. But I don't want to preempt your big announcement when it's coming. The last thing I want to talk about is a really remarkable another tag team match we had tonight, and it's the unlikely team of David Francisco and JJ Gale. Francisco, in this bizarro world that Southampton sometimes seems to be, is adored here. JJ Gale had resisted being his tag team partner until last week when he finally relented and said he would team with him today against Trew and Lacey. I think a lot of us thought because Trew and Lacey are the much more experienced team and that Francisco and Gale might not really be on the same page, it could be kind of a foregone conclusion, but it was anything but. And in fact, the so-called Sons of Southampton got the victory. What are your thoughts on what we saw there?
They had home field advantage, didn't they? But listen, I have to shout out Trew and Lacey as well. I feel like they're another one of the unsung heroes in British wrestling right now. And they're two guys that have been with Rev Pro for a while now, and they've really found their own. They're discovering who they are within a professional wrestling ring. And yeah, I feel that they could be the next team to be on the cusp of the big things, as in the traditional sense of the word, in terms of that tag team. They travel together, they train together, basically the opposite of David Francisco and JJ Gale. They're not your traditional tag team, but David Francisco obviously, of course, showed that persistence paid off. Like I say, home field advantage here tonight in Southampton, and it kind of worked, didn't it? They worked as a tandem. They complemented each other well. Whether or not you can trust David Francisco as far as you can throw him is another question. But listen, the fans here in Southampton enjoyed it. The fans here in Southampton certainly got behind it. And I think that's one of the coolest things about going to different venues. And that's one of the things that we want to be doing wherever we go. We want people to, get behind their favourites. And it doesn't matter if David Francisco is universally hated in the rest of the country, everywhere else he goes. If that endears him towards the fans here in Southampton, then so be it. We have fun with it, and he's created some very memorable moments over the last year and a half, 2 years here in Southampton. And I think it's great. I genuinely do. And I hope that, when we go to other venues around the country, people, like I say, can get behind whoever they want, and we will listen to the fans. We always try our best to listen to the fans and put people in situations that you may not be expecting, and I think that that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun. And that's what makes these shows, one of the things that makes these shows stand out from our others as well. And I say, I hope that this is something that we can be doing all around the country. So it's just, it's nice. And David Francisco was nice, and I was surprised.
Well, one thing that might not be so nice for David Francisco is I'm still not sure he's JJ Gale's main priority. Gale, as we know, has announced that his intentions this year are to be in pursuit of that undisputed British heavyweight championship. But that's true of so many people as well, and 30 of them going to get the chance on June 22nd. Your call in the Revolution Rumble. Charles Samuels, for example, was here today. We know he announced last week he's got his ongoing problems with Josh James. We know there's so many others who are in contention as well. It's an exciting time here in Revolution Pro Wrestling. Andy, I'm going to let you go back to your work, and
I should probably do some housekeeping notes as well.
Go on then.
I want to let some people know. I should probably just have said to you, can you mention this beforehand? Yeah. But so Lyon in France, we're coming this October, and the mailing list pre-sale happened last week. Check out revolutionprowrestling.com, and the tickets will be on general sale this week. We've done a great pre-sale. Very excited to come to France. So it'll be the first time Revolution Pro Wrestling's in France, and just another example of what we're trying to do in terms of grow one fan at a time. And it's like, they're very much independent professional wrestling shows. You know, when we go into, when we go to these places, when we go to France, when we go to Barcelona, when we go to Germany, you're seeing an authentic Revolution Pro Wrestling product. You're seeing an authentic, independent, up close and personal, intimate professional wrestling show featuring some of the best wrestlers in the world. So hopefully some people will take a bit of an adventure with us as well. Some of the fans in the UK will come across to these venues. We have little holidays together. Of course, we've got the Trios Grand Prix coming up as well in September, which will be 2 days in Barcelona. So we'll be packing the suntan for that one, hopefully. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to kind of make mention of that fact, because it's an exciting time. I think it can often be overlooked when we're thinking about, you know, the next big shows. Obviously, with such a schedule that we're running right now, J-Cum, Inter Rumble, 1 week off and then straight back to it, you know.
And of course, here in the UK, as well as all those big events we've been talking about, we've got obviously live in London every month. We've got Sheffield, Coventry, Southampton again, all coming up in July and August as well. No rest for the wicked at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to take for granted.
Yeah.
And if I can urge fans one thing, it's just do not take this stuff for granted, because we're working so hard to keep creating these memorable moments, and there was certainly some created tonight.
All right, Andy, thanks again for your time, and we will speak to you again in 6 days from now, when we will just be coming off.
Yeah, we'll know who's in that Cruiserweight Championship match, won't we? We won't even need to have you needling me for information.
Yeah, we certainly will. We'll be just coming off air from the British J Cup, so we will look forward to talking to you then next Saturday in Stevenage. We will see you then, and in the meantime, have a great week.